not only did we interact, we sat together the whole time and annoyed everybody because we were the only comedians and we weren't singers. So we would sit in front of the screen when they do playback and stuff and go la la la, do the Wizard of Oz, la 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 la, that part where the we welcome you to Munchkinland, right? Over and over and over.
We would like, if we may, to take you
where
on a strange journey.
A strange journey.
Yes. Well, today we are so excited to be joined once again by the talented and wonderful Greg Proops. Golf claps, golf claps, golf claps. How's it going, Greg?
There's so much bounce and echo with your voices.
Oh, can you
I'm
hear
hearing
me?
you all at once.
Oh boy. Okay, let's.
I know, right? I'm not getting any separation.
Greg, do you want to try signing
I
out,
just
signing
hear
back
myself.
in? Oh boy. Okay, sign out and then sign back in.
I'm signing out.
Yeah, and then come back in. Okay, guys, this is live. This is what happens.
Woo.
Anyway, we're
Magic
very
of
excited.
television.
Yes. So I guess we should kind of preface this by saying we had Greg on about a month or so ago, and we were talking, about his very vast career, but specifically this time we wanted to talk a little bit about The Nightmare Before Christmas, which of course is one of Danica and my favorite movies of all time, but also another production he pointed out on the wall behind me, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So once he rejoins us, we're going to talk all things Rocky Horror Picture Show, Nightmare Before Christmas, and of course, whatever questions you guys may have, you can leave them in the comments, and we're going to try to get to as many of them as possible. So that's what we have going on. Yes, everything's backwards for us. So hopefully he'll be rejoining us soon. That would be great. Until then, I guess what we do is called stalling, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, he's back. He's back. Let's see if he can.
It was my fault. I had another thing open.
Oh, can you hear us now?
I can. Yes, thank you.
Fabulous.
I think I had you in another browser or whatever they call them.
Okay.
I think that's what they do call them. But thank you again for joining us. I guess now technically the third time.
Right? We'll count that one as a really short show.
The shortest we've had, but we still enjoyed it nonetheless. So, Greg, we were kind of recapping that the last time we had you on, we talked a little bit about the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I know you mentioned to us the times so you got to meet the fabulous Richard O'Brien.
Oh, yeah.
So, I guess kind of to start, if you were to cast your Who's Line members in a shadow cast of Rocky Horror, who would be who?
Oh, well, I think Wayne would be Frankenfurter.
Okay.
I think Ryan would be Riff Raff. Colin would be the criminologist or Dr. Scott. Chip Eston would be Brad, although Brad could certainly play Brad.
He certainly could. Yeah. Yes.
Aisha is Janet. I would be Magenta.
Of course you would.
And who am I missing out? I'm missing out
Columbia. Wait.
Oh yeah, Columbia. It would be
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff Davis. Yeah. Although Jeff would be a decent. He could do a couple of the parts in it.
I'd love to see Jeff as Columbia.
Right, Jeff as Columbia and me as Magenta. I think is a really good call.
Oh my God,
I'm dying to play Magenta.
Oh, so good.
She's one of my favorite parts of the whole show. Master, we go weary of this world.
When shall we return to Transylvania, huh? Actually.
Yeah. Shift it. That's the one I'm always doing.
Shift it.
Shift
It's so good. It just, I feel like you've thought about this before. Like, I feel like you already have the cast lined up in your brain. So
we've done it on stage. We've improvised it a few times because people sometimes yell it out. And I often do Riff Raff because he's my favorite one. But I think if we did it for real, Ryan would have to do it because Ryan would be hilarious as Riff Raff.
Yeah, I want to see Ryan with the man bun, and I feel like he could. Oh my gosh, yes, I love it. I love it.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I want this in my life.
We did one once on the TV show, on the ABC one, as I recall. I'm pretty sure we did a Rocky Horror because
I'll have to look.
Yeah,
I think Wayne was Frankenfurter, and Colin and I did this dance, which you'd have to have seen the movie to remember. And I
Sirvak?
remember the crowd going crazy because we did that. That one.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
when from the time warp, and when I did it, of course, Colin jumped right in, and the audience was pretty excited. But unless you're a Rocky Horror fan, you don't know that move, because to
Yeah.
you it's what is it? But then when we started going like that, I was walking down the street just to have it. So yeah, but I mean, I've seen it a million times. And then a friend of mine did it in San Francisco in the 80s. My friend McShane, who was also on Who's Line, and the British one, Mike McShane, he played the criminologist in a stage version that they did in San Francisco. That was okay. The guy who played Frank wasn't that great, and you kind of have to have a great Frank,
Yeah, it's kind of the glue, right?
Yeah.
Right, but the girl who played Columbia and the girl who played Magenta were really good, so they kind of made up for it.
That's awesome. Good to know.
Oh, and who would play Rocky, right?
Oh yeah, Rocky.
No, Chip. I'll switch it over. Brad would play Brad, and then Charles would play Rocky because he's probably got the best body of any of us.
Okay.
You wouldn't croak if you saw him in a gold diaper. Where I think you might be shocked if you saw the rest of us in a gold diaper.
Do we want to go Drew as Meatloaf or Eddie?
Oh, Drew, yeah.
yeah.
I'd say definitely Drew as Eddie. I forgot about Drew.
Eddie.
Oh, Drew. Also, Drew's a good singer. People don't know that about him, but because you might have seen Pinocchio, but he actually is a good singer. And in the old days when we played Vegas every year at the Super Bowl, we would often go over to this the Riviera Hotel, and there was an after-hours band called Lon Bronson, and it was all the cats who played. Now that's all DJs and stuff on the Strip, but 10, 15 years ago it was live acts, singers. Celine Dion, this, that. Right. Yeah. So, what are those? And now it's all DJs because everybody just wants to take drugs and dance. But in those days, there was live acts. So all the guys who played in the bands would come to the after hours gig. So it was all the horn players from all the, you know what I mean? So it was this giant band, and they'd play Tower Power and this and that. And Drew would get up and sing.
Yeah.
And he would, yeah. And he was always good. And then one time we went with Joe Walsh. Because Joe used to hang out with us, and I was sitting with Joe in the audience, and the guitar player did a solo on stage, and Joe turned to me and goes, "This guy's not very good." And I said, "Well, I reckon you're better, Joe." And he goes, "Well, I'm better than this guy." And so fantastically, words are exchanged with the band, this and that, and the next thing you know, the band leader is bringing Joe on stage. And he goes, "From the Eagles, right?" Like Joe Walsh. So they play a number, and Joe shreds it, right? And because Joe Walsh, people don't know, is not only was he in the James Gang and all of his other bands before the Eagles, he practices every day because he's a professional. And so when I say practice, I mean he plays scales. Da 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 da.
Whoa.
Oh,
Like
Amy,
real practice.
Practice. Practice. So that when he gets up, and I've seen him get up a few times at different places, he can just crack it off. There's no thinking about it because you've practiced him. Also, he's Joe Walsh.
Yeah, I mean, if you just say, so Joe Walsh is here, you're like, please go, please just get on the fucking stage.
It would be like a singer practicing their scales. You know what I mean? He really, really does sit down with the guitar every day and do that. So he gets up and he shreds a solo. And because he's Joe Walsh, he can do the rock star thing where he makes it look like he's in pain and it's real hard. And it's Joe Walsh, so it's that, his sound, right? So he just blasts off. And the place goes fucking bananas. And this is what I remember most of all. He finishes and he's real modest, and they like Joe Walsh, and he takes a bow, and the guitar player has to come back up. And he comes back up and he plugs in, and he was just like, and I thought, oh, dude, that's terrible. They let Mike Trout bat for you, and then you have to come up next. It was just bad. They let Beyonce get up and dance ahead of you, and then you have to follow that. It was that kind of like,
tail between your legs scenario.
He played on the next number, but it was half-hearted. It took him a few numbers to get it back together. And Joe came off, and I was like, "You're right. You were better than that guy."
Well, I hope the other guy's doing all right. Hope he's doing well.
Oh, it's been a few years, so I assume he's recovered. Drew would be an excellent Eddie, and if they had a live band on stage, Joe would be an excellent band leader.
I love it. Danica?
Am I frozen to you?
Yes, you are frozen.
Great. Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Defrost.
Now you're gonna... Well, while we wait for Danica to defrost. Okay. So one of the things we wanted to mention was, obviously his name is Dr. Frankenfooter, but Janet does call Frank a hot dog, right? You're a hot dog. So what food would you most relate to?
Wow. Well, I mean, if I wanted to be popular, I think I'd say pizza, because everybody, it's kind of an across the board favorite, even vegetarians, and even gluten-free people. I think there's probably such a thing as a gluten-free pizza out there.
There is, and it's delicious.
There is. Okay.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna go with pizza. Although my favorite food is beef chow fun, which is a flat Chinese noodle that's really thick, and it's usually kind of a greasy affair, and it's little chunks of beef, and it's stir fried or whatever. When we play casinos and there's a Chinese restaurant, you'll find me there having pot stickers and beef chow fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say beef chow fun doesn't have the same intonation like pizza would, but it is a good choice. There's a place in it's near Boston, Sagas is it called? That's like a comedy club and an Asian restaurant. Am I making
I've played there.
You have?
Yeah. It's Hawaiian cuisine. It's sort of like the islands Chinese. It's Chinese, and it has a motif like you're like in a pagoda island thing. I've played there a couple times in the old days. When it used to be attached to the I can't think of there was a club in Faneuil Hall in Boston, the Connection or whatever. It was right in the middle of Faneuil Hall, where Sam Adams spoke and Frederick Douglass and all that, and the sailors beat each other up. And you on the Thursday or the Sunday you'd go over to all the Boston comics are going to kill me because they played 1,000 Sundays there, but I did it a couple times, and they would give you backstage noodles in the crispy noodles, that are in the bowl and all that.
Best. Oh, so good. Right. Yeah, I got to go a couple times with a wrestler named Mick Foley. So
nice.
They have like I guess a lot of wrestlers that come in as well, but I just thought it was the coolest place because it's like comedy and, like you said, Hawaiian Asian cuisine. It's
I remember having sweet and sour pork backstage.
Oh, that sounds divine. I'm so hungry. I feel like I talked way too much about food on this stream. But okay, so let's see. Next Rocky question. Obviously, Rocky was, the first of its kind where it just kind of developed into this experience where, people go, they started shouting out lines, they started throwing stuff at the screens, and, it kind of revolutionized this interactive experience. And I know that they started doing it with a couple other productions. Like I know they do Repo the Genetic Opera. I've even heard they do it for Sound of Music, which I don't know what you throw at the Nazis. I don't know. But what movie do you think would be like good to be interactive like Rocky Horror?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow, right? Well, I think a musical is always a good call. I mean, I know they do a sing-along Sound of Music, and they did a live version of Little Mermaid like the year before last at the Hollywood Bowl. I do, of course, The Nightmare, but I don't think that's very audience participation because you just mess it up. Part of what makes Rocky Horror so beautiful was that it was written with that in mind. And if you ever read the stage script, at the end of the show, it says, they sing the final song, Superheroes or whatever. And then Richard O'Brien Ritz, when he wrote it, in the stage directions, it says, by the way, another round of the time warp never goes amiss. So he's indicating you're supposed to do the time warp one more time. That's how the show closes, not with superheroes, but with you do one more time warp and everybody goes crazy. I'm trying to think of a rock and roll movie that I really like that's kind of glammy, because I think that's the way to go with this, right? Maybe The Hunger or something, with David Bowie, where you could yell at them and like, there's not enough numbers in it, but it does open with that Bauhaus, Bela Lugosi's dead, which is pretty cool. I'm kind of blank. I was watching Footloose the other day, but there is a live show of Footloose. And I think if you yelled at that, it'd be like, hey, hillbilly. Hey, minister, let them dance.
Yeah.
What if? All right, I can't think of one. There, you stumped me.
So the first one that came to mind for me, like, and this is okay, Spinal Tap.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea, right?
I think so. I mean,
why didn't I think of that right away? Then everybody could go like Big Bottoms or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like, but once again, maybe not enough musical numbers, because like I think my favorite part, and maybe Danica can attest to this too, is like literally I feel like a lot of people go into Hedwig and the Angry Inch. That's a good one.
Which one? Hedwig, yeah.
Hedwig, yeah. I feel like people go into the theater, sometimes they're a little intimidated, a little nervous, don't know what to expect. But once the time warp comes on and everyone gets up and dances in the aisles, like I feel like that's the the breakthrough moment. So I feel like the movie has to have that breakthrough moment. Maybe Spinal Tap. Maybe
yeah, right. Because what would be the number in Spinal Tap? Time Warp is what, the third or fourth number in the show? There's the science fiction double feature, and then the Frankenstein. Right. Damn it, Janet.
Over at the Frankenstein place.
Right. It's like the fourth number, right?
Yeah.
It's the first act, but it's kind of late in the first act or middle of the first act. Yeah, I know it is. It's when it really kicks in. That's when everybody is like, oh God. And then of course, because Sweet Transvestite comes right after, sort of the highlight of the whole enchilada, really.
Enchiladas.
Spinal Tap would be a good one because you could yell out, Boston's not a college town. I mean, there's enough punchlines in it.
Definitely.
Too much perspective, when they're at Graceland and all that. Oh yeah, Tenacious
Destiny.
D.
That's a good idea, Steven. I like that.
I think a rock. Yeah. What about Star is Born with Barbara Streisand or Lady Gaga?
Ooh.
Okay.
Interesting. Right? Couldn't you yell out then like, don't do the cocaine or whatever? Or what about The Rose with Bette Midler?
Bette Midler. Oh, there we go.
Where she's like a Janis Joplin-y kind of, she's too wrecked to be on.
Bette Midler, and the first thing I thought of was Gypsy, and I was like,
right?
That would also
You'll be swell. You'll be great. What about the interactive Gypsy?
Yeah.
That'd be
I gotta do couch, right? Isn't that kind of Caroline? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the one.
Oh boy, do I know that show.
Oh yeah, Broadway, how great you are. We're leaving soon and taking June to be a Broadway star. Yeah, I did it in high school too.
Did you?
I played like three or four characters in it. I think I was Pops and Angie, and I was a photographer at the end when she's in the bathtub and all that.
Oh man.
Great. I was a newspaper boy and a one of the striptease dancers in the background for her. Oh yeah,
Were you a Tori Adorable as well?
Say what?
Were you a Tori Adorable?
A Toreador, yes. I was a Tori Adorable. That's correct.
Of course you were. Okay, I thought of another musical. I got it. We go Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh no, that's a perfect thing to do.
Hands down. Okay, that wins.
Yeah, that would be really good interactive, actually.
Yeah, cool.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, and you could yell it out, and it's the feed me part and everything, because everybody could tee it up and then like feed me, see more, and
trying to chuck things into its mouth.
Right.
I love it.
Where's that actress? Ellen Green was really good in that. Ellen Green had kind of a thing going at that point.
Yeah, she was amazing. That's a tough role to cast, but it's literally my dream role.
Well, and especially because it's one of those shows that like everybody tries to play Ellen Green. Nobody tries to play Audrey. They try to play Ellen Green.
Right. And no one does the movie.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Well, same with Steve Martin, same with the dentist. I mean, that's another tough one. But okay, so since we're talking, the interactiveness, do you have a favorite prop that is part of the Rocky Horror live interactive scenario?
I always thought the toast was really funny.
Yeah.
Because it was just a stupid pun. No one throws anything during the Eddie, that's a real tender subject part, do they? I don't recall anything there.
Just to be honest, raw chicken.
Right. It's not a prop I told you the last time I was on about the first time I saw it at the Scary Theater on Market Street in San Francisco, the Egypt. And the part that I recall the most, I was quite high, And at the movie, right after Time Warp, all the queens in the audience started stamping. And that's when I was like, what? And then, of course, he comes down in the elevator. And that's the part I remember loving the most, because it's just that bam, bam. And then what? It's on camera. And then, the big reveal and all that. So the water I always forgot. And then I would get wet and then be like, why? I never
because you forgot to bring your newspaper.
Yeah. I never brought it. And every time I got wet. So, but that's quite early.
Yeah. It is. And I remember, Danica, if I recall correctly, because there was a troupe that was in Orlando that Danica and I used to see, the Rich Weirdos.
Yep.
I think that they banned water. I don't think that they wanted water in the theater. But did they ever throw hot dogs? Like, did we ever get a hot dog thrown at us, Danica? In this scenario?
Really good question. I remember getting popcorn in my hair.
Oh yeah, that's fun too. Cards for sorrow, cards for pain. Okay.
52 pickup from everyone.
Yeah. Right.
Well, what about like a favorite callback line? Are there any lines that stand out to you?
Well, large, black, and pendulous was always a pretty saucy one live.
Yeah.
And my friend Mike would go, they'd go, describe your balls. And he'd go, large, black, and pendulous. And then, and yours. I
love the describe your balls line. Oh, what a classic.
Classic line. True, there were clouds in the sky.
Danica, do you have one?
The guy... Oh, I'm sorry. The actor who played the criminologist in the movie, Charles Gray, not only did he play Blofeld in one of the Bond movies, I think it's You Only Live Twice, but he was good friends with Ava Gardner. He lived next door to her when she lived in London. And she used to go over to his house and drink with him all the time. And I remember reading a book about her that was pretty scurrilous. I don't know, it wasn't an authorized biography of her, but the guy knew her, I guess. And he described Charles Gray as bibulous, which means drinky. But it's a great word, bibulous.
Fucking British term for that,
right?
He's an alcoholic. No, he's bibulous.
He's bibulous. He's a what's the other one? A dipsomaniac. So evidently he used to drink with Ava Gardner, which I always thought that had to be good fun.
I bet. Hell yeah.
The stories. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think of, Danica, do you have a favorite callback? Anything that stands out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's when the criminologist is talking again, and it's what diabolical chicken stepped on your forehead and ate your fucking neck.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. For me, it's very like simple, very innocent, but I love when Riff Raff is next to the coffin and he opens it up, and right before he does his 2 kicks, I guess we scream out kick, and then he kicks. It's a good one. Or how many balls do you have? And he says, I've got 2. That's another one. Yeah.
Oh, where do you get your drugs, Columbia?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. These are all good. Yeah. Well, so kind of transition, and now that I think that we're talking about it, I feel like Nightmare Before Christmas would be another fantastic interactive event. I think that would be really cool to see. Really good songs. So we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Nightmare and your experience. And do you personally consider it a Halloween film, or do you consider it a Christmas film, or is it an all year round film? What are your thoughts?
That's the ongoing controversy. People ask that all the time. I think it's both, and I think you can show it at any time. And to give you an idea, Danny wrote it, or the music rather. He wrote all the music, and we've performed it at Halloween and we've performed it at Christmas. So it seems to go over either way. And the truth is, though, everybody wears Halloween outfits, even at the Christmas show. So, but people didn't as much before times. The last times we did it was Dublin, Glasgow, Dublin, London. I think we went, and people didn't dress up as much in Ireland, but they did dress up in London more. And but yeah, it works at Christmas time. People like it too. I mean, because it does end with Christmas.
It's true.
And there was I used to have to do the line at the end where he's flying away, Santa, and he goes ho ho ho, and he says Happy Halloween, and Jack goes Merry Christmas, and Danny and I would have to do the lines, and it's timed, and there's a click track, right? And we have monitors while we're singing and talking, and we never got it right. Like it would always be too late, or you do it too early, and then it'd be an hour, and then you'd go Happy Halloween, like Merry Christmas, like a year later, or I'd say it before the Santa said it. So he's in the sleigh, and I go Happy Halloween, and then Sana'd fly away for a while, And so finally, after like 2 or 3 years of it, I remember we came into rehearsal, and one of the producers goes, "You don't have to do it anymore. We're putting the soundtrack back." And I'm like, "Thank you."
What a gift.
Because we got it right a couple times, but the timing of it, there's no song there. It's just film. At that point in the movie, we sung the reprise, and then it's going into the final thing before him and Sally sing their song, and Santa just flies away and goes ho ho ho, right? So it's just this errant piece of film. There's music, but mind you, it's going. All I hear is right, because you're wearing the things, so you just hear the clicking. And, and I never. And there's numbers. There's numbers every. I don't know. I can't see or hear. So
numbers clicking. That's very complicated.
It's not really. I mean, the thing is, like I said, I'm next to the conductor, so he's always literally sings it with me and points at me. So I could, the first couple times I did it, I messed up every cue. I didn't get anything right. And he didn't say anything. He said something like, "Very good energy." Like just, really dismissive.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, you showed up. Look at you. Look, you showed up. How nice.
Good for you.
You didn't get anything right, but you showed up. So then I got it together. And then now, of course, I'm really in the groove because I just watched John. And so I know when I'm coming in, because it'll be like making Christmas is a fun, da, 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 and want the children. And then it'll get to my part. And he'll go, "Won't they be impressed?" And so I just come in there.
That's awesome.
And there's a couple of toughies, like in the town meeting, we have to go. The whole thing starts with a box. A box? Is it steel? Are there locks? Was it filled with a pox? A pox. How delightful, a pox. And then we have to do all those in time. And of course, all the singers are all right on time. And I'll miss it in rehearsal, and they'll all go, "That's you." That line you're supposed to say that says Greg on it. Why don't you say it? And I'll be like, what? I say all my lines.
That's great. Well, another cast member and also former cast member of Who's Line, Debbie Durst. I think that's pretty awesome that she also got to be part of this whole experience. So what was it like, or did you even get to interact with her for your recording with Debbie?
Well,
or was it separate?
Oddly enough that you asked, kid, she's one of my best friends. And I text her, we communicate literally every day. And I haven't texted her today, but we do usually.
What are you waiting for?
Right. I just sent a card to her husband. Will is a stand-up comedian in San Francisco, and sadly he had a stroke last year, so he's recovering from that. And Debbie and I have been best friends for 25, 30 years easily. So not that I didn't get her on Who's Line. She got on with her talent, but I certainly pushed the producer to put her on. And then we got on Nightmare, and we were both excited because we're best buddies. So we not only did we interact, we sat together the whole time and annoyed everybody because we were the only comedians and we weren't singers. So we would sit in front of the screen when they do playback and stuff and go la la la, do the Wizard of Oz, la 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 la, that part where we welcome you to Munchkinland, right? Over and over and over. And we're loud. And she always dressed that way, like Peppermint Patty, with a baseball jersey and giant tennis shoes and, crazy. So that was a great experience. And then she did so much great work in that movie. She's the dead mom. She's the dead baby. And she's a witch. She's the witch.
Mm-hmm.
And her voice is indelible. Right? She's the one who goes, "There goes Christmas." She's the crying dead baby. that Henry Selick loved her and put her in James. She's several characters in James as well. So Debbie, I couldn't be more excited to have worked with her, and that we got to be in the Something So Boss together. So we flew to LA. We did it in Berkeley, Oakland, somewhere, and we did it in San Francisco. We there was a bunch of recording sessions to do all the music and stuff, and then the last time I think we did it, we got to see part of the opening number because they had finished the animation for it, but all the other stuff took forever for them,
That's like,
so I think we got to see it before anyone else except the animators.
I love that, like, she's one of your like closest friends, because I feel like an experience is always like so much better when you get to, participate with someone that you're like super close with, that's just makes it so
right?
special.
She's like, she's one of my best buddies, and my wife and her husband will tell you that it's pretty annoying when we're together because we really never stop, and everybody's like, I wonder, might you stop? Like we'll see each other and it'll be, hey buddy, and then we hold each other in each other's arms and we cry for like 5 minutes, and then we go, buddy, I love you so much, like for like a year, to the point where everyone in the restaurant or wherever you are, the ballpark, is now looking over because it's been, oh buddy, and then on and on. And that's been a tradition for a long time. So Durst, which is what we call Will, Durst and my wife Jennifer will just stand there and look at each other because it's 10 minutes because we think we're cute.
Yeah, I'm sure
we really think we're cute, and the cuteness rubs off, I think, for bystanders. If you're just caught in the the ricochet of it, you're not that happy, but it makes us happy. She's also a very avid fan of seafood, and particularly sushi. And we used to go to this place in San Francisco that had boats, right? Like this.
Oh yeah, the sushi, of course.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Right? So like there's a river around, you sit it next to the river or whatever, and or a stream, whatever it is, and a brook. And the sushi chefs are putting everything on these tiny little craft, and they come around. And like you go, oh, yellowfin or whatever, and you pull it off. And I remember eating with her there one time, and she'll eat anything. Like I have open mind, but she eats the raw shrimp that are glassy. Like they're not even cooked. So it's a shrimp, but it's translucent. You can see through it.
No,
because it hasn't been cooked, you see. Yeah. And it looks like a biology experiment or something,
Yeah, no.
And I remember she ordered that, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I think I had a bite of one. And she'll eat those. And then my wife took her for lunch in London, and they were doing crayfish or Dublin Bay bugs or something, which are the little ones,
Yes.
And Debbie ate like 2 pounds of it.
Oh, I could put down 2 pounds of crayfish.
Right?
Easy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
and then throw it. Yeah. So that if you eat seafood, whether you're in for kind of an exciting day because you've never really seen it, short of an otter or a seal of some kind, you've really never seen anyone put it away the way Debbie can put it away.
I have a lot of respect for that.
Noted. Yeah. Now I'm gonna think whenever I eat seafood, I'm gonna think of Debbie.
It's funny you ask about her because she remains. I mean, I know other people in the cast, but she remains my buddy. From all those years back.
You're good, Judy.
Love it.
Right.
Danica, do you want to ask one more nightmare question, and then we'll go to our games?
Sure. Well, I'm
talk
sure
about
this might be one that you get a lot, but I think especially reflecting back on it now, when you were recording it, is there any way that you thought, you know what, this really could be something really big, and I'm excited to be part of it now? Or it was just like, this will be fun?
Well, when I got the audition, I was really excited. I told you that last time. They gave me a cassette, and I learned it. And I thought that the opening song, Halloween, was really good. Like, I thought it was, catchy. And I hadn't heard any of the other songs, right? Because, So that's all we did for the audition, and I got in it. And then now I heard all the songs. We met Danny, and we heard and work with Henry and the whole enchilada, and it went on, and we knew it was going to be this like Disney thing, but you have to remember things were so different then. There was more of an underground scene versus mainstream media kind of thing that it doesn't exist anymore because of the interweb and how everything's become goth. And, you know, like even on High School Musical or Glee or anything like that, they still, and there's elements of Rocky Horror, there's elements of, you know, it's one big happy family now. Whereas in the old days, it was like people who like to have big black hair and wear skulls on their head, and then the people who didn't. And those people watched one thing and those people watched another, and they were the ones who liked the Cramps and you know, and Specimen and old horror movies and Tourist Santana and Russ Myers and all that John Waters-y type stuff. And then there was the mainstream people who liked Bambi and, you know, Sleeping Beauty. So this was a Disney movie, right? Which is what made it weird. It wasn't an underground movie, but it looks and feels like an underground movie with Disney, not Disney songs, because Danny's songs sound like Danny, but with high production. You know, the songs are so produced, and the more I listen to it, as I said last time, I get more of the Russian composers, and also like Rachmaninoff and a few others. There's so much of like when you hear the orchestra play it, it's just extraordinary. And there's gongs and bells and the celesta that goes, and all of that's behind us. And the harps, there's sometimes 2 and 3 harps. So you hear glissando and everything. And like, then you really hear the classical element of the music. Whereas when you're watching it, you get the words most of all. But like the very beginning of What's This goes dun 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 dun, and there's bells, and it's like listening to Prokofiev or who wrote Peter and the Wolf, Tchaikovsky. You know, right?
Yeah.
It's got that real Peter and the Wolf kind of fucking fairy. Sorry,
No, it's okay.
The fairy tale thing, you know. So at the time, I was a little more cynical. I was in my early 30s, and we liked all the songs. We would make fun of them because that's how cynical we were. And once we were in the gang, so we could, right? We were all working together. So Debbie and I would go, yeah, 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 or do Danny's music on, you know, like that. And then when it came out, it just didn't, you know. It played a few weeks and whatever. We went to the opening in San Francisco and everybody liked it, and then was like, what was that? So there was real confusion when it came out about like what it was, because was it a Christmas movie? Was it a Halloween movie? So my expectations at the time were like, I was really hoping it would be, you know, the next Snow White or whatever. And then it was kind of nothing. And then not nothing, but, and then within a decade, it gained steam. So that movie took a long time to like become what it is, you know, because now we play to 15,000 people in Tokyo, London, you know what I mean? Like we're playing these giant rock and roll venues.
Oh yeah,
and,
it's a global phenomenon. It is,
right?
everybody knows
Absolutely.
it.
I wouldn't even exaggerate. We played Tokyo, Dublin, those kind of, and New York and LA, and like we were like close to Chicago. These things always come and go because it's rock and roll, but like I really think you could play anywhere with it. And it's because of video and because of now we're into, because I'm so old and it's been 30 years, is it? 30 years? Close to.
Oh my gosh.
What year did it come out? 93, 94?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And we started working on it in like 92, I think. Or 93, I think we finished. Anyway, the people's kids, people that grew up on it as kids, have kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so right. So when we play the Hollywood Bowl, you'll see whole families there with kids from every age, teenage down, which are little ones. And the parents, you know, are dressed like Sally, and you know what I mean? Like, so you know that they love it, and they've made their kids watch it 1,000,000 times. So
Mhm.
when we start and we come out after we finish the first song, and I can't see anything at that point because I'm literally on a cloud because we're singing Halloween and I'm trying to hold my part down. But I'm also like, I'm so excited to be on stage. And the band is just sawing away, right? It's really loud. And then on the beta, on the downbeat of This Is Halloween, This Is Halloween, it goes bong, right? There's gongs on stage and stuff, yeah, and bells, gong, 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 right? So I love that part. Then we sit down, and I can see everybody in the front, in the very front, and they're all, and then I see them singing like I see them singing all the songs and everything, and that's when I know that everybody. I know it's a long way to answer that question, but
Oh, that's okay. I mean, that's
we didn't think it was going to be The Lion King. You know what I mean? Like we didn't all sit around and go like, oh man, this is going to be the biggest movie ever. I think the fact that it was a Disney movie that came out before mobile phones, this is 93 or whatever. So
93, yeah.
You phoned people up,
What?
You went, or what are you doing tonight? Are you going to or as in San Francisco, you want to go to the show? And then you go to the show. So that was how we communicated. There was no emailing or any of that jazz. You either left notes for people or you went to their house.
Mhm.
You did what?
Knocked on the door. Yeah.
I don't.
Or you talked to them on the phone all night.
Danica and I have done that, I'm sure.
Went to each other's houses and knocked on the door and we're like,
Oh, yeah.
you're there, right?
Yeah.
Right. Open up.
Well, I believe on your website you posted that Danny Elfman is doing an experience. I believe it's on October 9th. Are you going to be participating in any way in this, or are you just helping to promote?
Oh yeah,
it?
I'm in this one.
Fabulous!
No, I signed the contract. I just validated my vaccination for it the other day. And, yeah, we're swinging along. I don't know who else is in it. I know the other 5 singers are in it that I sing with: Randall, Fletcher, Berica, and Angie, and they do all the monster voices. Randall is the mayor, and Fletcher is I am the guy with the tearaway face, and Berica's what is it? How ugly? What's in it? What's in it?
Oh yes.
And Angie does what is it? Perhaps it's the head that I found in the lake. But Danny's in it. But I don't know if I can, because I don't know. I can't tell you if Catherine or Ken or Paul or anybody's in it.
But you're in it, and that's what matters most.
I am, and
exciting.
we might do another one. I can't say, but
Okay.
There might be another one. So yeah, I'm in this one, and it's great. I couldn't be more excited. I'm actually leaving the Who's Live tour for a week to come do this. So
Awesome.
That's how much it means to me.
Yeah.
I'm giving up Who's Live. Oh, it says plus guest stars. So my guess is yes. And then costume contest. I'll probably be hosting the costume contest.
Oh, cool.
I used to host it at the Hollywood Bowl. It's great fun. It's, oh my God, because Los Angeles, everyone's a costumer or a set designer. So the outfits are to die for.
Yes.
Like Oogie Boogies and Sally's and a kid came as a silent movie projector a couple years ago. It was so beautiful. And little girls, little kids, 5 years old, in full on Sally, like beautifully constructed, stitched, outfits. And I interview them, and they're always hilarious. I'll go, "Where are you from?" And they'll go like, "Duarte," and I'll go like, "Are you married?" And they'll go, "Yeah." Right? I'll go, "What grade are you in?" "I'm in 1st grade." "Are you seeing anyone?" And then.
Man, that's great.
Right? And or my favorite is, "Where are you from?" And they'll go, "Here." And I'm like, "You're from the Hollywood Bowl?" So I love talking to kids. I'm not one of those performers who thinks kids mess you up. I think you let them be funny and you win.
Right.
Win. Like 4 or 5 years ago, before the election, the Hillary election, this kid came on and he was dressed as Beetlejuice, and he was maybe 6. And he was just gorgeous, right? He had a little suit on, and he had the makeup and the hair. And I bring him out, and I can't talk to him. And then he goes, "Did I win?" Like we haven't had the contest, right? And everybody's waiting in line. And I go, "What are you, Trump? We have to do this first. We have to have an election." And the place just.
Oh no.
And then he started to walk off the stage, and I ran over and plucked him up. So I tend to wrangle the kids because they let him come out there, and then they get out on this giant stage and they start to run around.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm always holding on to them and dragging them places because you can't let a 5-year-old walk over an amplifier.
Oh no. Oh
Very
no.
bad form.
Yeah. You know what I was going to
And
say?
some of the kids are like, 3 feet tall,
I would like to see a Sally and Moira mashup for the costume contest. Wouldn't that be
Right?
fun? Yeah.
Oh my God, so fun.
Oh.
And she's, we're also, I haven't seen her since 2019, but I wrote her when she won the Emmy, and she was really nice about it. She did that hilarious bit with her husband where the husband pretended to be scrolling through his phone while she was giving the acceptance speech. It was great. And
So well deserved.
just so funny. Yeah. And we were all congratulating her. That was only the 6th. I think it went 2 more seasons, right? Or whatever, how many seasons they did. We were all saying to her how great it was 2 years ago that she was on it,
Sensational. One of the greatest shows of all time. Of all
Oh,
time.
because of her too. Let's be honest. She's unbelievable on it.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's great,
baby.
but she's
The baby.
she's a superstar on it.
That she is. Well, we have a game of Would You Rather. So there is no wrong answers, and these, I believe, are Rocky Horror / Nightmare questions. So these might be a little tricky, Greg. Danica, what do you think? You want to do the first one?
Sure. All right. Would you rather have a castle as a spaceship or be able to deep freeze your friends?
Oh, that's intriguing because there's advantages to both, right? I'm going to say, are you too cold? I'm going to say have a castle as a spaceship because it would be fun. And also, what is it? We return to Transylvania. Prepare the transit beam.
Yes.
Oh, very good. Very good. Ooh, yes,
I
love it.
thought you liked them. They liked you. They didn't
like me. Love it. All right. Very good choice. I would also pick castle. All right. Ooh, would you rather create your Rocky Horror creature to resemble Wayne or to resemble Ryan?
Well, I've been on stage with Ryan for 30 years and live on stage with him for over 20 years. So I'm going to pick Wayne because I've had Ryan inside me and on top of me and below me and
With
every
consent.
which way. I've really seen him from all 4 sides, as they say. So I'm going to go with Wayne on that one.
Okay. Wayne it is. Wayne it is.
All right. Nice. All right. Would you rather?
I've probably kissed Wayne more on the TV show.
Oh, that's always good.
And Colin and Wayne, I've probably kissed the most.
Okay.
Is there a best? Who's best? I need a superlative kisser.
Colin, yeah, he's quite good.
Okay.
All right. Would you rather have Frankenfurter's tattoo or wear a corset every day?
Oh, that tattoo's so great.
Right.
It's probably more practical to wear a corset every day.
I mean,
especially
good
with that,
posture,
right? The strand of pearls. It would so remind me to keep my shoulders back. I'm going to go corset.
Okay. Okay. Corset.
Although I love the tattoo. Do you have any tattoos, Janet? What does he say?
Do you have any tattoos?
That's right. Certainly not. How about you, Janet?
All right, here's the next one. Would you rather have a ghost dog like Zero or have 2 faces like the mayor?
Oh, right, the mayor. Jack. Good. I'm just a poor fish. I think I'd rather have a ghost dog. I really love Zero.
I do too.
Zero is one of my favorite parts of the movie. And my wife always points out, and it's true, it's a Halloween movie with very few bats and cats. There are bats and cats in it. There's a scene with a cat, as you recall, in the alley. And there's her cat. Sally has a cat. And the moon explodes into bats at one point. But there are very few cats and bats in it. And Halloween's generally a catty batty holiday. And our movie somehow gets away with just 1 or 2 bats or a few, and then a little bit of cats. Well, there is no cat that, is the familiar or anything like that in it.
Right.
Most Halloween movies have a cat that talks or a cat that does magic or is your familiar or,
Yeah.
lots of, right? And
That is true.
Nightmare, it's not the cats. It's all the other monsters, which I think is really interesting.
I also am obsessed with Zero's nose, that it's a little pumpkin. That's
Right.
weird.
His nose, yeah, Zero's nose is there's so many lovely details in it. The rat when he's wearing the Santa hat. And Santa looks at him and the rat looks up at him and he's got the gift in his hand. That part just kills me. And then the very beginning of the movie when we're singing This Is Halloween on the gong parts is when the pumpkins fall on the spires of the fence and they go shunk, 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 shunk on the beat. And that part I just think is sensational. But it's heavy on the jack-o'-lanterns. It's got probably more jack-o'-lanterns than any other Halloween movie, including the lead character. Everything's a jack-o'-lantern in it, which is really medieval.
Love it. All right. Next one. Danica?
All right. Would you rather get a shrunken head from Santa Jack or get a man-eating snake from Santa Jack?
I think the man-eating snake, much more useful. You clean up around the house. That scene,
Practical.
Right? Those two scenes are hilarious at the end, but the one with the snake gets the biggest laugh.
Does it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can barely hear the audience because I've got things in my ears, and they're really well in there. They're like on the eardrum because they're singer thingies. To be technical.
Yes, of course.
But you can really hear the audience laugh because that sequence we just sit there and watch. And the orchestra just hammers away behind us because it's all scored, and it's pages and pages of music, including the ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum. The whole percussion section gets a workout on the army part, and then there's a siren right when they do the cannon shots, the timpani and the orchestra. It's really cool.
Man,
so,
this is something I need. I feel like I have to see this live at some point
right?
in my existence.
I'm
get
selling
out there.
If you could sit where I'm sitting, you could really hear it. But yeah, no, you'll hear it better in the audience. I'm hearing it all come over me, but you'll hear it like amplified and together. Excuse me. But the kid vibrating while the snake eats the tree, and the fat kid always gets a giant laugh.
Oh,
I know. Yeah. I always feel bad about it too, but it does.
Well, all right. Well, here's the next one. Would you rather babysit Lock, Shock, and Barrel or babysit Rocky?
Oh, I think Rocky. Hey, we're all only human here.
True. Okay, Rocky's a good choice, but I feel like he's very fast and he might get out, and then you have to release the dogs. It could be.
That's part of the excitement.
Okay.
But he might definitely give you a tumble.
Yeah, true.
I believe the only thing he's come to trust. Whereas Lock, Shock, and Barrel, you're going to get a slingshot in the back of your head at some point.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, I'm good on
Although
that.
the bathtub with the feet on it.
Oh, I love that bathtub.
Isn't that fabulous? That's one of the parts of the movie that is like, I don't know how you describe it. It's a bit like a surrealist, but it's also like this neo-expressionist thing, and the German feel to it, but the animation of it, and the fact that they're legs, and that it walks cleverly right off and walks through the screen. I think that's the end of Act 1 when you see it live. We stop there, and then you go get a beer. And then we pick up Act 2 after that. But that's the end of it. And I always think it's just stunning, that last shot of the bloody bathtub walking down the thing. Is
so good.
It gives it that horror movie thing.
Oh, yeah, big time. Oh,
which is, I think, what was confusing to the viewers of 1993.
Well, fair enough. All right, well, we got...
I made myself hysterical.
Well, we got two more. So, Danica, what you got?
All right. Would you rather take dancing lessons from the criminologist or take sewing lessons from Sally?
Wow, I love the criminologist. And I love his dance too. But Sally is an awesome. Yeah. And then a step to the right. Put your hands on your hips. Sally is so, when she jumps off the the tower and puts herself back together. That's an extraordinary part of the movie. And people really watch that with a lot of interest. She's, I think, in a million ways, the heart of the picture. So I'm going to pick the criminologist.
Okay. And maybe Sally can join you for some dancing lessons.
Right?
Yeah.
She does two of my favorite moves. At the beginning when they go, town meeting, the crazy clown on the unicycle.
Oh, yeah.
Shoots by her and she spins.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another time when she spins. Oh, when she gets up and picks up her basket to start walking, she does a awesome move there.
So good. Oh man, I
I've
cannot
seen
wait.
it 100 times now.
You don't say. I definitely need to revisit it. I feel like I haven't watched it in a couple months.
Well,
so
I have to watch it.
Well, we have one final would you rather, and it is: would you rather have a poem about your life written by Tim Burton, or have a score about your life written by Richard O'Brien?
That's a pretty overwhelming choice there, but I'm going to have to pick Richard O'Brien just because, for sentimental reasons. It's such a big part of my growing up.
Yeah, did you ever?
That's being really ungrateful to Tim, isn't it? Since the movie was his idea.
Not necessarily. I mean, it's a choice. You're allowed to make a choice. Life is nothing but choices. That's what my drama teacher told me. I mean, did you ever get into Shock Treatment, like the follow-up to Rocky Horror?
No, I don't even know if I've ever seen it. Is it
Yeah.
good? I haven't seen it.
It's just bizarre because it's different actors, and it's just not the same. It's not the same. I'm sure that there's people that love Shock Treatment the way we love Rocky. The music's okay. It's not. Yeah. It's not Rocky Horror, but nothing is. So
no. But Rocky Horror is a rollicking good comedy. It's a body rock and roll comedy, and that's why I think it has such great appeal to everyone. And horror movie.
Yeah.
And sci-fi movie. But I think he wanted to do something different at the time, and that Rocky Horror did so well for now there's an underground movie. I know it was made by a studio, but I don't know how long they had to shoot it. I don't think very long.
I think a few weeks.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I wouldn't say they had more than a month or two at the very most.
Look, they didn't even have the set design because, Dr. Scott had to go through a wall because they forgot to put a door there. It's like, at least they reutilized it.
And the pool, the endless part of the pool. I don't think they had much budget, and I think it was all about how funny it was. And that brilliantly Jim Sharman did there's the dog.
There she is.
What subsequent directors failed to do, which is provide the beats so that the audience could chime in.
Yeah.
The movie's shot with beats so that you can chime in. If you watch it with no audience, they stop after every punchline, and so you can yell because the stage show had already established. Now there's a million more, of course,
right?
Because it's been so long. But at the beginning, how many there were, they're all included in the movie. So I think, I wanted to love the one with Laverne Cox because I think she's fabulous. But it wasn't as funny because they rushed all the bloody jokes. The jokes didn't land, and all the jokes in Rocky Horror land in the movie. Like they'll go, they'll say a line, and Susan Sarandon or whoever or Tim Curry will go, look right at the camera.
How about that? Right?
Yeah. How about there's so much, and then right? You're wet. Yes, it's raining. Yes, and then she goes, right? There's so many jokes, and they're all really good comedians. And Barry Bostwick is a superb comedian.
We tried to we reached out to him to actually join us for the stream tonight. Unfortunately, he was unable to, but for the next one, we'll have to get him for the next one because Barry, he's amazing. I mean, what other man can sell their underwear at a convention and get away with it? It's like just Barry.
And fantastically, he played George Washington in a TV movie.
Man, he's a man of many talents. We love Barry. But
Yeah.
Greg, this has been so much fun because I mean, like, obviously Nightmare and Rocky are two things that shape Danica and I's entire existence. And so it's so cool to like get to talk to somebody, especially one that was in Nightmare, but also just as passionate about Rocky that as we are. So this has been such a delight.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Thank
it means the
you.
world to me too.
Oh, yay. Well, I know you mentioned that you were taking a week off to go with Danny Elfman to do these live performances, but we also wanted to plug your upcoming shows with Who's Live, and there's quite a lot of them. There is many.
My mom got her tickets for the one in Tucson. She's so excited.
Oh, Tucson. Okay. We love that place. And we stay at this really cute hotel there that has the best Mexican food. I really enjoy Tucson. We went out to the desert last time and saw the petroglyphs and everything.
Oh yeah.
We went to Saguaro Monument and everything.
Yeah, we're seeing you on December 5th in Fort Lauderdale. So I guess that's the final.
Fingers crossed.
Show, I know.
And now that I know when you'll be close to me, hold on. I saw it before. It's next year, actually, when you're in Raleigh.
Oh, right. No, we do. Yeah. We swing through the South. We do Raleigh and South Carolina somewhere. I can't remember. And a couple dates in North Carolina, I think, and then a couple dates in South Carolina. And Atlanta, or is Atlanta on this one? I think we do Atlanta.
We get real close to look.
I can't see it at all. Next year, though, if you go to who'slive.com, who's live, not who'sline.com, they're all there. And we're adding dates all the time. As you can see, there's a few more added there. Yeah. And then people keep bugging me and going, when are you coming to Canada and whatnot? If you go to the Who's Live Anyway site, it's all there. This is only what we're doing this year. Yeah. Because like next year, we've got months and months already booked. So we're coming to Canada for like 2.5 weeks at one point.
Wow.
So yeah, we'll be all over the place. So we're coming to your town, I assure you. Because people are like, how come you're not coming to Dallas? And I'm like, Dallas is on the calendar.
Website.
Yeah. Like, how come you're not coming to Chicago? It's the 2nd of November. Why don't you look at the calendar? They ask before they look, you know.
Always.
Oh yeah. Well, I know the feeling because all my wedding information is on our website. And anytime people ask me any question, I go, did you look at the website? They did not, of course.
So
hey, when you get married, the date's on the website.
Yeah, that's right.
So the dates that you will not be at Who's Live is, I mean, obviously there is no replacement for you, but do you have someone else stepping in?
Yeah, but I don't know who it is.
Okay.
But I'll give you an idea. It's generally Dave Foley or probably Gary Johnson from Who's Line, or possibly Chip. That's the pool we drew sometimes. So our big group has all those people in it. So it'll probably be one of them. Kathy Greenwood sits in. Well, I've missed Canada once, and Kathy sat in for a week. So we do. There'll be no drop in quality.
Of course. The quality remains the same. They just don't get to see you, you know? So
pretty much. And that I think is a crushing disappointment for a lot of people.
It's just different hair.
And lots of it.
Well, before we do wrap it up, we want to go over our upcoming guests that we have for, I guess, oh my gosh, this is the final day in August, which is so bizarre. Next week, we're welcoming back Alicia Taylor. The following week, we have Casey Joseph and Practical Jokers. The following Tuesday, we have Patrick Stone from Butterside. And then we're ending the month with Lee Ehrenberg, Hello Puppet, which will be a lot of fun. We're so excited. Greg.
I know Lee.
You know Lee?
Yeah, I'm buddies with Lee. I don't know why I know him, but I know him from LA, the theater scene here or something. And, we've known each other for years. One time, I'll just very briefly, I saw him at the supermarket several years ago. My wife and I were at the supermarket, and I'm like, hello, Lee. And I go, can I tell you something? I've watched all your movies this week because Pirates was on and Waterworld was on. And he goes, Waterworld was so great. We were in Hawaii for like months. And they never called us. I was like there for months before. Finally, after a couple months, Lee, today you shoot. You know.
Jeez. Yeah, sounds awful.
Oh my God.
Ask him about that one. Ask him about how much he worked on Waterworld. Because he was like, he was never happier about a movie. You know, I've talked to him about his career. I mean, he was like, oh my God, Waterworld was great. You know.
Damn, I love his episodes of Seinfeld. I mean, like that's just he's
Bloody Marvelous. Yeah. Hello, Puppet.
Hello, Buffett. I'll have to work on my impression. I'm not an impressionist. But before we do wrap this up, Greg, any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
Oh, well, just everybody be safe out there and get vaccinated, because the
Please.
more you get vaccinated, the more the venues will be safer. We really want to see you. And I know that we all want to return to going to see live music and live theater and live comedy and all that. And it's not going to happen unless everybody does this. And we're about halfway there. My understanding is it's slightly over half the country's been back. So, you know, the bigger, the better, the faster, the gooder. We can wrap this up by Christmas, I think, if we get it on. Because it is 1 million people a day, sometimes 750 million people. It's just that we have another 150 million people to go through. So we don't want it to be another 150 days is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And wear a mask, because even if you've been vaccinated, 1, you can get the Delta variant. 2, you can be asymptomatic and give it to someone else if you're not wearing it. And 3, there's loads of people out there with conditions that you don't know about, whether they have a comorbidity, or they have a pre-existing condition, whatever that may be. There's loads of disabled people out there who aren't able to take the vaccine. So you have to think about them too. Like, people are so selfish and they just think, hey man, I'm gonna have a beer and just party and not wear my mask. It's like, there's people all around you that need you, old people, young people, babies. Babies can't take the vaccine. So, I think about other people is what I would leave you with. And wearing a mask and getting vaccinated are the 2 most awesome ways we're going to stop this, for real. It will stop if we do those 2 things. It won't stop if everyone just goes, all right, I'm going to party. So,
and there is Nightmare Before Christmas masks. So if you're looking for something cool to wear for this upcoming season, I think they have like Hot Topic.
Are there? I need to get one, right? Like a Jack Skellington or something or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We should wear them at the show, right?
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Right?
Yeah.
Song and then put them on. And
Yeah.
Come out with them on, That'd be cool.
Clever girl. Well, Greg, this has been so much fun. And until we get to do this again, we can't wait to see you on the road. Hopefully Fort Lauderdale, December 5th. Can't wait. But all right, to everyone watching, we will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Greg.